My own voice was reading a list of names, and every name belonged to someone in this building. I hadn't spoken. My lips were still, but there it was, crackling out of the speakers at 3 in the morning. Me, calm as a weather report, saying how each of us would die. I'm Mara, 12 years listening to the sky for a living, alone in an observatory that hums to itself after midnight. Most nights, the dish gives me nothing but static, the sound of everything and nothing at once. I'd learned to trust that hum. That night, it broke. It started as ordinary noise. The hiss you get from an untuned radio isn't empty. It's the sun, it's Jupiter, it's heat trembling in the wires and threaded through all of it. The faint afterglow of the Big Bang itself. 13 billion years of whisper. I'd heard it 10,000 times. Then a thread pulled tight inside the mess. One clean tone, impossibly narrow, sitting right on the hydrogen line. 1420 megahertz, the frequency every textbook says a stranger would choose. Nature doesn't make lines that thin, only intention does. My skin went cold before my mind caught up. My hand hovered over the phone to wake the director. 12 years of false alarms made me hesitate. A satellite, a microwave, a phone in somebody's pocket. I'd been embarrassed before. So I told myself the sensible thing. Log it, watch it, don't be the fool who cried aliens, but the tone wouldn't behave. It began to flicker, dipping and swelling in a rhythm far too deliberate for any machine I knew. A carrier. And now, something riding on top of it. A payload. Whatever this was, it wasn't just a signal anymore. It was carrying a message. I ran it through the decoder, and the room filled with laughter. A child's laughter. Bright, delighted, close, as if a little girl stood giggling at my shoulder in an empty control room. I spun around so fast my chair screamed. Nothing. Just blinking monitors and my own reflection. I told myself the truth I tell my students. The brain hunts for patterns in noise. We hear voices in fans, faces in clouds, pareidolia. There was no child in the room. My exhausted mind was stitching a ghost out of pure random static. I wanted so badly to believe that, so I played it again, and the laughter came back identical every single time. Same pitch, same breath, the same little hitch at the very end. Random noise is never identical twice. Never. This wasn't my mind inventing a pattern. This was recorded. This was aimed. I traced the bearing. The signal wasn't bouncing off a satellite or leaking from town. It came from a patch of empty sky in Sagittarius. From a distance, the software rounded to 1,600 light years, 16 centuries away. Far, far older than a child's laughter had any right to be. Then the laughter stopped. Mid-breath, like a door quietly closing. The silence after it was worse than any noise had ever been. And into that silence, slowly, softly, a new sound began to resolve out of the static. A voice, human, measured, reading something aloud, one line at a time. It was my voice, not an imitation, mine, down to the way I swallow before hard consonants. I had never once recorded myself saying these words, yet there I was, listing names, co-workers, friends, the night janitor, each name followed by a date, a place, and a way to die. Priya, our youngest tech, a fall on the north stairwell this coming winter. Old Thomas, the janitor, his heart in April, in his sleep. Deborah, the director, a car, a wet road, 2 years from now. The voice never rushed. It was calm, precise, merciless. And then the voice said my name, Mara. It paused, the exact way I pause, and it told me the where, and the when, and the how, in my own tired 3 a.m. cadence, as if I were reading my own death back to myself from somewhere impossibly far away. I tore the cable from the console. The speakers died. My hands were shaking so hard I dropped the connector twice on the floor. But when I looked back up at the screen, the waveform was still there, still writing itself, still speaking, with nothing plugged in to carry it at all. The sound had never been coming through the wires. I'd only imagined it needed them. The voice was arriving the same way the light did, straight down from Sagittarius 16 centuries in the falling, which meant this message had left its source long before I was ever born. And that was what broke me open. How could a signal 1600 years old know Priya's name? Know my swallow? Know the wet road 2 winters from now? No signal foretells a death. Actuaries guessed the odds. They never named the day. This one named the day, unless it wasn't predicting anything at all. Unless somewhere out there, 16 centuries ago, someone already held our voices, our names, our endings, and was simply reading them back to us. Not a prophecy, a recording, which meant all of this had already happened once to someone wearing my voice. The signal looped now, patient, waiting, and I understood the choice sitting in front of me. I could erase the file, tell no one, and let us all live blind and ordinary. Or I could answer, transmit back, and find out who was holding the other end of my own voice. My cursor blinked over the transmit key. 12 years I had begged the sky to say something back to me. Now it finally had, and it knew me better than I knew myself, and every instinct I owned screamed at me to run. But I have never once in my whole life been able to leave a signal unanswered. So I pressed send. One clean tone, thrown 1600 years out into the dark. Then I sat back in the humming quiet, and I waited, and the static slowly folded closed over the silence like cold water settling over a dropped stone. The reply came back in under a second. Impossible. The nearest answer should have taken 32 centuries, there and back again. But the console lit at once, and the laughter returned. That same bright child, delighted now, thrilled, as if I had finally understood the game. And underneath the laughter, my voice read the list one more time. The same names, the same dates, but longer now. One name added at the very end that had not been there before. Spoken warm, spoken proud, spoken like a mother, a child's name, unborn, mine. The famous wow signal came once in 1977 and never came again. Mine never repeated either. The static out there is real. The sun, the big bang, the honest hiss of a living universe. The voice that knew me was not. I tell myself that every night at 3 a.m. So the next time your radio catches nothing but snow, listen a moment longer. Somewhere under the noise, something may be reading a list. Patient, ancient, wearing a voice you would know anywhere. And if you ever hear a child laugh in the static, whatever you do, don't answer it.